Hey, how you doing? On our play for this week, we got crazy trailers for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Marvel Spider-Man 2 in this week's PlayStation State of Play. Nintendo gives us a subtle clue on when to expect Switch 2 announcement in their latest Nintendo Direct. Mm. The Magic FPS Immortals of Aveum studio lays off almost half of its staff. It's terrible. Unity is getting rigged over the coals over a very business first move. They really messed up on this one. And then Baldur's Gate 3, guys, it's changed my RPG life, and I'll have more to talk about that. All this and more on season 7, episode 36 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. Do the thing. Do the thing. No things are doing. We're just doing the thing. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka the man with the persuasion and deception. My character's name is Cora in Baldur's Gate 3. It's funny thing about that. I named her Cora, and then probably like maybe like 5 hours of playing, I was like, oh, Cora from like Avatar. I did not make that connection in my head at all. The name popped in my head. And I was like, I want to do this. That's gonna be my character, and that was it. I'm joined by.
On MF Ross.
What does the MF stand for?
I am altering the deal. Pray
Oh,
I don't alter it any further.
wait, where is that from? I know where that's from.
That's from Star Trek.
Yes. You could have said Starfield. That would have been appropriate. I don't even. I don't even know if they said it in Starfield.
It's from Star Wars, and I just set off just millions. Are all well, we don't have millions of listeners, but all 10 of our listeners that is just like, what is he?
You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, Starfield, Star Trek, Star Wars. They're all in deep
Starship
space somewhere.
Troopers. I mean,
There you
yeah.
go. Hey,
Yeah.
Starburst, deep space. You know what I mean? Anyways, now you know who we are. Press X Star Gamers Digest is a video podcast and condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best standard time. So, yeah.
You're listening to the Island Boys. Not those Island Boys, but these Island Boys.
Right? The ones that actually can claim Island. Don't forget to support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our conversations by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. With that out the way, let us jump into the things that's been happening this week, the gaming news. Number one, as I said earlier, PlayStation gave a state of play. Sean, what is your current state of PlayStation state of play?
My games that were highlights for me beyond the obvious ones of Spider-Man and Final Fantasy were Baby Steps and Foam Stars. Kinda, I'm interested in that, but Baby Steps looks solid.
Really. Yeah. So overall, how would you? We can talk about that at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
My big games. I'm in a very, very interesting space because Spider-Man. I know it's going to be good. It's at the point where my hype bar is as filled as it can be. Like I can't go any further. So like them showing me all this stuff, I'm just like, okay, stop.
I don't need all of this. Yeah.
I don't.
already
Yeah,
know I'm gonna buy
exactly.
it.
I don't. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like I already know I'm gonna get it. Okay, just calm down, And then showing Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. But this also, I did not play Final Fantasy 7. I watched a lot of Final Fantasy 7, but most of
You talking about back in the day?
Yeah.
You played the
one of
remake.
my best friend. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that like when I first saw the remake, I was like, ooh, this stuff I actually remember from my time watching the game.
Yeah.
Rebirth, a lot of this stuff, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. So like I remember a lot of the beginning and like some of the end parts. So this trailer was very much so new to me. So I was just like, okay, well, I don't I know they're making touch points. They're trying to make like references to this and that. And I'm just like, I don't I don't know what any of this means. So I'm excited for that game, but it's not there's no nostalgia factor for that section of the game to really like wow me while I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm just like, this is the best RPG ever made. Oh my gosh. And then to have to know that I'm gonna have to take a step back and get into like a Final Fantasy RPG and just be like, oh, all right. But I'm still gonna enjoy it, still gonna appreciate it. We're
I
gonna talk about
mean,
this stuff.
yeah, it's a whole different vibe though, but I get what you mean.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Let us jump into the trailer that we were just talking about, the Final Fantasy Rebirth trailer. So, as I said, well, actually, did you play Final Fantasy 7, right? I feel
The
like we just
original?
talked about this before. Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, okay. So
I
we're
bought
this is
I bought
both
a
for both of
PlayStation. No,
us.
you know what? Let me rephrase it. I didn't buy a PlayStation. I acquired one. But that was one of the number one games that I
Hmm.
wanted, and I never ended up getting it.
Really?
Which
Was
is
it was it the
also,
whole
huh?
was the whole age thing? You couldn't get it because of the whole age thing?
Oh no! I was in rated R movies when I was like 7 and 8, man. Guy, it's just I just
Excuse me.
never happened to cross it.
Yeah.
Funny
Okay.
enough,
Okay. Okay.
now though, I have a copy in the garage and I have nothing to play it on.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I love
also acquired that copy. No
right.
questions, sweetie.
Hey, we're not asking questions, okay? We're not asking questions. But yeah, I think this trailer, I think it's probably one of the prettiest trailers I've seen in a very long time.
Hmm.
I watched the state of play after it showed, so I got to see everything in 4K, and it's just like, ooh, this is just it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Again, don't really know what's happening here. You got Chocobo climbing the side of a cliff. That looks fun. And you got some open road exploring. Cloud on a Segway. That looks cool as well.
Yeah, that looks what?
Um, oh wait, I am looking at the wrong thing. But yeah, um, it it looks cool. I just again, like these things don't resonate with me in a way that it did the remake. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be a learning experience. But overall, I think this is a cool trailer.
I'm wondering how much of this is I know some of it is filler slash expanded upon, but I wonder how much of
Mhm.
the story is altered because they're trying to, like, all right, they got Cloud and Sephiroth fighting back to back right there.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't have a frame of reference, but I do know for the remake that they altered some story points to not tell it as a one for one retelling of Final Fantasy VII. So
Exactly.
as
So
as a new
from
fan, we don't know what we're missing out on.
Yeah, so from what I've heard is that they're going to be following some of the same story beats.
Of course, yeah.
There's going to be I think one or two new summons in it. You're gonna have characters like Vince, Kate Six, the other the staple characters that we know. Like they're gonna
Hmm.
be returning for sure. Um, the other clue that the devs gave us was that this is actually going to stop um it's going to stop at the part and
Oh, the part.
yeah right, the
I don't
part.
know what that means.
Yeah, so basically the part is in the
Oh,
old Final Fantasy game
okay. No,
where
I get you. I get you.
Sephiroth
I get you.
kills
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah. No, what? Dumbledore?
It- yes. So the question is, are they going to follow through with that, or are they going to change it up? People were kind of speculating that they actually might put Tifa in that situation because of how Cloud and Tifa's relationship was kind of going in the past
I
Final
guarantee you they're
Fantasy
gonna
VII
give us
remake.
like a scare where we think she's dead and she's gonna like
Yeah, yeah,
take it off and something.
right.
I
Like,
don't
it's
know,
like
not
I
yet,
got
not
a
yet.
potion. I'm good.
They're gonna have us edging. Um,
Right.
what I'm curious about
Uh,
is so it's a planned trilogy. When is the third game gonna come out? I know this one isn't even here yet, but
yeah.
as I just looked up, Final Fantasy Remake came out in 2020. The Intergrade upgrade, whatever, came out in 2021. This
Hmm.
is 4 years later.
Hmm.
I really hope we're gonna be able to finish the trilogy on PS5, and we're not waiting till PS6. Granted, I'm sure it's gonna look bonkers, but
Yeah.
I hope
Well,
we're
I
not
mean,
waiting that long.
I believe per the whole Microsoft Activision deal thing, Microsoft was predicting that the next console generation would happen in like 2028. So if that holds true, then we should still be able to get this game within the PS5 console generation. But that's all words, hearsay.
I mean, that
Don't
sounds
know if
like
it
they're
actually
just
happens.
gonna. I don't see for as much as Square bitches about games not performing well. I do not see them releasing the cap end of their trilogy on the ass end of the PS5 lifespan. You feel me?
I mean, they if you well, okay, so they released Final Fantasy 15 on PS4. Well, I just see what you're saying because like the trilogy,
15 came out what
16, I
2017,
think 2016.
2016,
I think
2017.
2016. Yeah.
Yeah, PS5 didn't come out to
Uh,
2020. Think about it.
I mean, that would be so long ago. Anyway, okay. That I yeah, I would hope that they would release it on this system just so we can have a collection of the three
Hmm.
on one console and not have to worry about the whole like cross generation stuff. Um the what other So another thing is that your save file from the past Final Fantasy 7 will not transfer over to the from Final Fantasy 7 remake won't transfer over to Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
I
But of
wouldn't
course,
expect it to. What?
yeah,
How would that
exactly.
even work per se? You start in the game. What did they just make the monsters level 50 from jump? Like what does that mean exactly?
Exactly. But
Um.
I also think what that is alluding to is that the like some of the decision stuff you made in the game is
Mhm.
not going to be reflective in terms of what we're going to be presented with this. But at the same
We
time,
had decisions to make.
yeah, like you could pick like Tifa or Barrett or Aerith to like talk to or something. There's a couple of choices you can make, but like they were so minor as you the fact that you're like there was decisions like they were that minor where it's not going to really make a difference in terms of what happened at the end of Final Fantasy 7 remake and what's going to happen in Rebirth. So
I'm trying to think of like what you could even transfer. Like you couldn't. There weren't outfits or anything, were there?
there's not outfits, but I think it's just like the quote unquote the choices you made in terms of like, oh, I'm putting my eggs in the Tifa basket or the yeah. So it's one of those things
Maybe
where it's
I
like it
man.
was nice to have in remake, but they're
Nah,
not
this ain't
they're
Mass
not worried
Effect,
about
man. Just
it. Or
get on with your
exactly.
life.
And then the other thing is that, whatever. They're talking about sales figures, but that's not really that important. So
They
the
sold a
other,
lot, but never
it,
to their expectations.
of course,
That's the
which
tweet.
is so frustrating. Um, so yeah, the other thing that was a big drop was Spider-Man 2, the game that no one has ever seen before ever up until this one trailer. Um, to drop with this trailer, a lot of gaming personalities, journalists got to actually play the game for like 3 hours or so, and then they were able to
Hmm.
talk about it. It was embargoed and stuff, so that kind of dropped at the same time as this trailer. And a lot of people are saying that it is just more Spider-Man. So if you really like Spider-Man, uh, Marvel
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and Miles Morales, you're gonna love this game. And it's just like that's kind of what they should have done. They made the city like twice as big, so that's great. They added a bunch of different like open world activities you can do, the wingsuit that we've seen before in the past. All this stuff is making traversal like
Wingsuit.
yeah,
Now you get to fly around with the
yes.
exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
Let's go. Yeah, so like it's the one thing that I heard but not
Yeah.
really a lot of people focused on was that in the gameplay that people got to experience,
Hmm.
I think it was kind of funny. I heard them say that um, Peter get the symbiote suit, but you also have Miles with the symbiote suit.
I mean, why not? It's a fucking video game.
No, I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's just like no one's like, "Hey, Miles gets the symbiote suit at some point too." Like, what?
I mean,
That's awesome.
I want to
I
say
just
it
want to play as
happens in
Miles
the
in the symbiote suit.
comics. I'm not well versed, but
He's gonna be screaming reparations the whole time.
uh ever get
Oh
a
man.
symbiote suit. Let me
Yeah.
see.
So Yeah, this game.
Oh.
What happened?
Yeah, no. Apparently, he has not gotten it yet, but he has been infected by a Carnage symbiote. So, I mean, whatever,
Oh,
man.
in the
This
comics.
this
Okay.
is an original,
Yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man story. They can do what they want. He'll get a
Exactly,
suit, sure.
exactly, exactly. And I'm totally
Give it
down
to
for it.
what's her name is for fuck it.
Gwen. No, not Gwen. Mary
Sure,
Jane.
yeah, her too. All
There
of
you
them.
go. Yeah.
Give it to Doc Ock. Everybody gets a turn.
Right. Just put symbiote between everybody. But one of the big things they promoted is that there's gonna be like 65 different outfits, and then a lot of the outfits have different colorways to them. So it's just like colors and colors and colors of different Spider-Men Spider people you could be in this
Hey, man.
game. So
I
that's cool.
wore
That's
all
awesome.
of maybe 2 or 3 suits in each of the last 2 games. So sure, man,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I definitely did like find like my
Your
favorite three
favorite,
and just
yeah.
kind of cycle between those. Yeah. You get upgrade trees, get all that stuff. It's Spider-Man. Like the my only worry is that it doesn't do enough in the variety department to um not be impactful, because I know this is Insomniac. They're gonna make great games. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no worry about that. But it's just I don't want this to fall in the umbrella of, well, it's Spider-Man. Yeah, it's a good Spider-Man game, and they just kind of leave it out. Like it doesn't get brought up for game of
Um,
the year because it's not doing anything like different, which is the one thing that everyone hangs their hat on in terms of if it's going to be in the game of the year conversation or not.
I mean, I would
So
hope that's not the case because mm, yeah, God of War Ragnarok did have you playing as. Let me not
yeah,
spoil it for people that haven't played it, but I mean, it did introduce new things. I don't know. I don't want to spoil things.
yeah, no, I definitely like
If
my
Ragnarok can
hope.
get nominated for shit, I would hope this can too. I mean,
Yeah,
it
like
was more, more but expanded.
exactly. My hope is that the Spider-Man game, like the story, is not going to be so prescriptive of a Spider-Man Venom story, and like they're gonna make like bold choices and do like different
Yeah.
things that is going to be like, oh, that's a surprise. Like, oh, this is crazy. Like Miles has a symbiote suit and he's beating up on cops or like something crazy, you know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the next game. Oh, actually, no, this is not that. So the next game is that we're gonna talk about is this little shooter of a game where you get people nice and clean called Foam Star. um, so
Alexa, play
this
Outcast, fresh and clean.
right. So this is actually interesting because when we first saw it, I think we were all in agreement. Like, what is this? This just looks bad. But I think this second trailer of it looks a little better. Like it looks
I
like.
didn't think it looked bad. I was
Oh,
just
really?
like,
Okay.
will this be fun per se?
Yeah.
Um, I guess we'll see. But thankfully, they're having an open beta, and maybe it'll be free to play, and they'll sell microtransactions because I
Yeah.
don't see a community looking at this and be like, yeah, I want to pay $60, $70 for that. So
Yeah, and I think that's always the fear about like games like this, where it is based off of like a multiplayer
mhm.
multiplayer player base. So it's just like, are people going to stick through? Like, is it going to be a thing where they get a pop that first week, that first day, and then it just kind of dies down to like 75, 74 players
Mm.
from then on or whatever? So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the open beta, I'm excited to try that and see what it's like.
Mm.
The next game is this one is for Sean. Baby steps.
Come on, now. Tell me this don't look interesting.
I'm gonna tell you this to look interesting. Like
You're lying.
I appreciate the weirdness of this because it is
Mhm.
very much so like um the old PlayStation that I really appreciated, where it's like, hey, we're just gonna throw a weird game out there, and like
The
if you
hell is
like it,
this?
you like
Yeah.
it. Exactly, yeah. So I can appreciate it, but like this is a type of game that like is built to infuriate me. And it's like
Why?
I just don't want that kind of stress right now. I just don't like
This is
it's
supposed to be
just
like the game Quap, and there was another game
exactly.
similar.
It's made by the same person, I believe. The same
Okay.
developer. Yeah.
So you're literally controlling each limb individually on this game,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
make your way through. At least, in the first little section, they show us the guy walking in mud. This reminds me of like a Dreamcast era game, actually.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Um,
It does have that like feel, yeah.
there's not a whole lot to say about this, but I'm very interested in trying this.
Yeah.
It scratches an itch. It
This
looks
is
like
like
it's
one
gonna
of those
scratch an itch.
perfect like let's play games.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. This is a
Mm-hmm.
perfect streaming game. This is like
Yes.
the QWOP version of only up. Let's see how far you can get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great, great,
So yeah,
great suggestion. Yes. You know
this
what?
this
Fuck it. We're gonna play this on stream. We're gonna play this on live. I'm gonna play it.
we'll figure it out. All right, cool. And then this guy like grapples away, showing his mastery of I don't know movement. Let's wait for the grapple. We'll jump to the next thing.
Yeah, man. It's just
Yeah,
like
there you go, and he's gone.
there's a grapple point. Just hit the grapple. I'm gonna hit the grapple.
You're right.
Yeah, just hit the grapple. I'm gonna hit the grapple. Just hit the fucking grapple, man. Yeah. It was just. Uh,
Yeah, we'll see.
I can't wait to check this out.
So the next thing that I put on here because I think this was a complete failing on PlayStation. Overall, I think the showing is pretty good until they got to this point, and I was like, "What? What are they showing?" At first, I was like, "Oh, is this like new DualSense Edge controllers or something?"
Oh, just
And I
new
was,
colors,
yeah, I was like, if they're making like controller designs based off these different uh
things.
like effect techniques, like oh that'd be really cool. And then you get this, and it's like it's a red, it's a blue, and it's a silver PlayStation. I'm just like,
Here's where they
why'd y'all
messed up.
waste?
They should have put it in order red, white, and blue. That's their only mess up right there.
Right.
They have it red, blue, and white. They red, blue, and silver, whatever. You had
It's
one
because of
job.
how they read their letters. It's backwards. But yeah, it's just like why what I mean, let me go back to this. Like why go through all of the cool and crazy stuff just to say, hey, we got you a red PlayStation 5, which I think they already have a red one before.
Yeah, they already have all this stuff. They just boosted numbers. I think the
Yeah.
silver controller is new. I think the controller's like metallic looking, possibly. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, just boosted numbers.
yeah.
It's not for us. It's not for
It's
us,
really not. It's really not.
and
You're
that's
right.
fine.
So yeah.
Some
So
people
that's that.
collect every controller that comes out, and this is for them, and that's cool.
More power to them. I also hate them. I don't hate them. I love you guys. You guys are cool. Just
Mm.
watch our content and like our stuff. You can continue existing. Anyways, um the next thing we're talking about is Nintendo Direct, which happened the same day, which is a weird thing of a PlayStation Nintendo thing happening on the same day.
The Japanese are banding
Um
against Americans.
so okay, we will talk about Mario versus Donkey Kong. So this was so there's some backstory behind this one because a
Hmm.
lot of people was speculating that the September Nintendo Direct, we're gonna get
Announcement.
some kind of Donkey Kong news, maybe like a Donkey Kong 64 remake or something. One of the like the more popular Donkey Kongs, we get a remake or something.
Yeah.
Instead, we get the Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and some people were upset by this. Some people were like, "Oh, this is cool." Um, from what I saw, there was more people being upset about this than not being upset about it. But it's like I never played Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I think this actually looks interesting.
Hmm.
I kind of like the whole like one screen puzzle format. I think it's obviously it's appealing for kids, and guess what? We have kids, so yeah, this might be a thing that I might get and show London and see if she's interested
I
in.
wonder how long this was in development, as well as I wonder how long the movie was in development, because they had a little Mario versus Donkey Kong match in the movie. I'm guessing this is to try to capitalize on something like that. Maybe.
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, there could be a connection with that in this. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So yeah, this looks interesting. Um, Next up we have Princess Peach Showtime. I think this for me, this was my uh game of the direct. I think this looks really really cool. I had my expectations low in terms of what this was going to be because Nintendo, when they bring out new games, oftentimes it can be a hit or miss. I think
Yeah.
from what I saw, this looks like a hit to me. I really like excuse me. I really like all the cool like outfits and stuff she has, and like she can become a fighter, like a martial artist, a detective, all these crazy things. Pretty cool. Do you have any thoughts on this?
It looked interesting, but I don't know if I would buy that.
Yeah,
But I think that's gonna be the case for a lot of people. Like, well, I don't want to play as Princess Peach. Like, if she was maybe like a playable character in a Mario main game,
yeah,
I think that's just the case for a lot of people. Where they're like,
yeah,
but we'll see how well it reviews and how well it sells when it comes out.
yeah. I
On
think
March.
I think that review is going to be really important for this game because I think
Mm.
I think the last game that Nintendo made that was a Peach game, like it was pretty looked
Did
down
they have
upon
a
because it was
Peach game?
yeah, it was like it was basically based off of her emotions. So when she cried, she got a power. When she like was
When
happy, she
the
got a power. When she was
what?
mad, yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't
Super Princess Peach 05. Oh, okay,
it
she did have games before. Did not know that.
wasn't well looked upon.
Mm.
So yeah, we just saw Sword Fighter Peach. So looks pretty cool. So I think this is cool. Um, Next game, Sean, WarioWare, Move It.
I love the WarioWare games. I did not get the last one that was on the Wii U 3DS. I don't remember
Mm,
the last one just because I was just like, that's not a real WarioWare game. But
mm.
I've been playing these since like the I want to say Game Boy Advance days, and
Really?
yeah, and I don't know, they're pretty interesting. The little mini games that they have.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I've never played a WarioWare. Actually, no, I've played a demo to one of the WarioWare games. I thought, oh, this is interesting, but because it's
it's
a bunch of
not for
different mini
everybody.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to be like for me, I'd have to be in the mood for it to really enjoy it. But like at the time, I was like, oh, what is this thing? So, but yeah, it looks very very much so like a WarioWare game. So
mm.
more power.
Yeah. I don't have too much to say about it yet because I mean, of
Yeah,
course, it's not out yet. But
yeah.
it's
But I
more
know
of
you
a
got a lot to say about this game though.
what is that? What is that?
Trombone Champ.
Man, Trombone Champ is gonna be amazing. I thought it was the dumbest shit ever when they first like brought it up
Put
on
it on the
screen,
box.
and then they showed the multiplayer, and my head just lit up with the possibilities of a party game.
Hmm.
This game is
Yeah.
gonna be amazing. Apparently, it's not a brand new game. It has I ain't gonna say rave reviews, but it's getting pretty good reviews. This
Yeah.
came out last year on the PC. You know what? Actually, no, it has a 10 out of 10 on Steam, and 96% people like this game. So
I was gonna say because when it first released, a lot of people were talking about it. I just
I
completely forgot about it because of
I didn't
all
hear
the
about it,
reviews.
but
Yeah.
let me see what this Metacritic is looking like. Generally favorable, 82. I mean, it's based
Yeah.
on only but a handful of reviews, but
Yeah.
I don't see any of them negative. So
And as you see, it was out the day of the direct. So if you
yeah,
have not played this game, you
Shadow
can play
Drop.
it now. Yeah. So
I
yeah.
just don't think it'll be fun as a single player game. You need people to play with, play this with, and
Yeah.
laugh with. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then there is one more game which I thought looked really cool, but I know I'm not gonna play it because it's just because it's an RPG, and I already talked about my things with RPG, and now that I played Baldur's Gate 3. It is what is this called? Unicorn Overlord. So
Mhm.
this is I think this is Vanillaware. This is definitely Vanillaware.
Atlas, no, Vanillaware. Yeah.
Yeah, produced by Atlas. So yeah, like the art style is like absolutely beautiful. I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really love about the like when you zoom into the actual fight, like all the characters are very well like drawn
Detailed.
and
Yeah.
animated. Yeah, and it's just it looks really cool. Looks really pretty. So yeah, it's like that is just that is crazy. I kind of you kind of lose the whole like background and foreground to all the like everything just looking so great, but
Yeah.
still great to look at either way. So yeah, that is our highlights from the Nintendo Direct and the PlayStation Showcase. Um, Before we jump to the other stuff on our gaming news list, whatever. So how would you rate the PlayStation Showcase? Oh, Jesus, the PlayStation State of Play and the Nintendo Direct out of 10?
I feel like they were both mid. I'm gonna say a 7.
Yeah,
Um,
that's where I'm at too.
there are no. I mean, I don't think Sony's gonna introduce any huge games this late in the. Spider-Man is a month away, so they're not gonna show anything to take away Spider-Man's thunder, and that's fine.
Yeah,
We knew Final Fantasy was coming out. I mean, I
yeah,
can't say I was disappointed, but there was nothing that made me go, you know, goddamn. And not that we need that necessarily. All of these are fire. Tales of Arise DLC for people, that's
hmm
awesome. Helldivers 2 getting a sequel. Helldivers getting a sequel, cool. Avatar, ugh, game's gonna be
it's a
rough.
game.
Yeah. Honkai Star Rail, apparently
Uh,
it's awesome. Gotcha
yeah,
game, turn
yeah.
based, whatever.
A lot of people enjoy
Um,
that game.
yeah, I mean, I played it, it
Yeah.
was okay. Um, it was mid. Same thing with Nintendo. Before me and you got on, I went through my past purchases for
hmm
Nintendo. The last thing I bought was Bayonetta 3 back in December 2022.
Yep.
Um, Before that, I think it was the last Paper Mario in like 2020. I haven't really touched my Switch. I don't know.
Yep. I
Which is
mean,
funny because there's nothing major on the Switch that I want to play right now, but
yeah.
if a Switch
Tears of
2
the
came
Kingdom.
out, I'd
You can play
definitely
Tears of
buy
the
it.
Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tears of the
exactly.
Kingdom,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I look at this and I think like these are presentations from companies who one are secure and
Yeah.
two are confident in what they have in the future, because on the PlayStation side you have them showing us games that, yeah, we already know about. They told us like this is what to expect from this showcase, and like
Yeah.
they followed very true to that. There
Yeah,
was
I
no
mean, yeah, they didn't say
surprises.
there was anything new going to be announced. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. But like they stayed true to that, and because they did that, it was like, yeah, okay, well, this is fine. It's not bad. It's good. So it's
they
a
didn't get
seven.
our hopes up. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas like I look at the Direct and Nintendo Direct, and I think like they, showed us a game. They showed us a lot of games, and the thing that I noticed is that all the games are between now and the end of March,
Yeah.
and that's the fiscal year. That's, I guess, the 2023 fiscal year, 24. I don't remember how that exactly works, but I think that is a indication that something is going to happen in the April, like May area, that is going to basically be a trigger or indicator for what's going to be for the rest of the year. And
Yeah.
I think that is where we're gonna get the Switch 2 like announcement direct or whatever. I mean, it's possible that they might do some kind of announcement and then actually show it or actually talk about it more during like Summer Game
Yeah.
Fest.
Okay. Nintendo's fiscal year runs from April to March. So, bada bing, bada
hmm
boom.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely looked at those dates and I was like, oh, this is really interesting that they're all lining up on like the same like couple of months. So I definitely think we're gonna see Switch 2 for sure, probably April or May. I don't have any sources. My source is myself. Um, so
I
yeah, I
see
think they're
them announcing it February-ish to get a spike right before their fiscal year ends.
well. The
Or
this
if
a spike
that
in
even
what
works that
though?
way, I don't know. Huh?
Yeah, because like I think they hold off until they get all their games out because if Nintendo says, "Hey, we're doing Switch 2," no one's gonna buy Switch because like, oh well, why would I buy Switch now? I'll just wait for the Switch 2 probably this year if they're gonna
A lot of
announce it.
people were still buying, PlayStation 4s even after they announced PS5 and
Well,
Xbox
that's
One
because they
and vice
couldn't.
versa.
That's because they couldn't get a
Some
PS5
chip shortage, but
because no one could get a PS5 because damn hackers.
I would say the same thing for
Uh,
Nintendo, but I mean nobody was buying the Wii U, so I mean whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then even right now, I think in terms of the Switch hardware, it's been on a decline after Tears of the Kingdom because there really hasn't been any big games to like push people to buy. I mean, it might get a boost from Mario Wonder that's coming
Next month,
next month.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. We'll see what happens in the future. The only person that knows is me because of my source.
Mm.
Anyways, before we jump into the rest of the news for this podcast, please, as I said earlier, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. That way you can see all of the content that we have for you, the listener, the subscriber, the friend. Thank you. All right, now let's jump into number 3. Xbox Series S and X UK sales jumped 76% on Starfield's launch. This comes from GamesIndustry.biz. Do I actually have this up? I don't think I have this up. I apologize, everybody. This comes by way of Christopher Dring. Nailed it.
It's all good.
So, basically, as the title suggests, the 76% jump is from Starfield launch and because of the new 1 terabyte Series S model. So that's good. I mean, there's not really much to say about this other than I think this is exactly what Phil Spencer wants in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the not give and take, but like the actual play of okay, we have a big launch, we have a big game, we put this game on Game Pass, but before it actually launches on Game Pass, we also have like an early access uh
Yeah.
thing, and that like people who are excited for this game will buy into that, knowing that they're spending
I
money,
don't
they're
like
spending
that
extra money.
76% number just because that gives us nothing. We don't have
Oh,
any
in terms
hard
of
numbers.
what
Yeah.
the yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, but
If
of
they w-
course they're going to be cagey on the actual numbers
if they were selling 100
because
a week, 76% means now they're selling 176 a week. Inversely, if they were selling 100,000, now they're selling 170. I just
right,
don't like
right.
the way they're reporting. Just give us the hard numbers. Quit being scared.
Well,
What are you
they don't want to
afraid
do the
of?
hard numbers because they give us the hard numbers and be like, oh well, that's lower than this PlayStation number. They're like, well, yeah, but like we're not looking at it like that, and they're like, we're like, we don't care.
That's like, all
6
right.
is lower than 7.
That's like, all right. Let me give you an example. Like Xbox Series, X and S sales jumped 76%. It
Mhm,
looks way better than, PlayStation 5 numbers have increased by 10% since
mhm,
last week. If you're selling
mhm.
a million PlayStation 5s each fucking week, like I just hate the way the numbers,
Yep,
the
yep,
percentages can be misleading, but whatever.
yep. That's marketing, unfortunately. That's how that works. That's why they do it the way they do it. So we don't
Why?
really know exactly what's happening behind the scenes. But yeah, overall this is good for Xbox. So, go
Yeah.
them. Well, after that, the rest of this news is very, very terrible and very unfortunate. Number 4, Immortals of Avium
hmm
studio faces massive layoffs. This comes from Polygon. By way of Nicole Carpenter. So yeah, basically this game did not do good. They lost nearly half of their staff, which is around 40 people. Before this layoff, there was about 80 to 100 people there. So essentially, this kills the studio. Like, uh, they might be able to do some support work, but overall, like, this is kind of it for the studio. And just
I'm chuckling because it says one former worker told Polygon that the poor sales were cited for the layoffs, which were necessary to keep the studio running. Y'all knew this wasn't gonna be hot fire.
see, that's where I'm just like, if you were to tell me, if you were to be like, hey, look, out of the last like 15 games that released that were like quote unquote AAA, which game do you think is not going to do well? I would have pointed at Immortals of Aveum, like easy. Like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, this does not look good. I think the only person I was excited for was Avery, or not even excited, thought it was interesting was Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, if you're putting out a new IP and
Yeah.
say like we're just a test group, and one out of the five of us is like, oh, that looks interesting, like that's not good. At least have three of the five be like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting, I'll give
I'm
it a
sure
try.
they were excited about the work that they were doing. Everybody's proud of their baby. And I don't know. It
Yeah,
just said like they got mixed reviews because it rehashed AAA tropes. So I mean, like it sounds like they just made a
it
Call
was
of Duty
very
with
generic.
magic. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah. And I think the I I look at that game and I look at it in the way of, to me it feels like the things that they focused on was getting the is it Rosario Dawson
Dawson. Yeah.
Dawson. I think it was her and the main character guy. It, to me it feels like, oh, maybe they just put their budget in the visuals and the um
Yeah, because apparently it had intense technical
actors.
requirements. Less than 9% of PCs may have qualified to run the game.
That's insane.
That's
There's
a
a
lot.
lot of PCs out there. That's insane. Like that's
Mm.
so ridiculous. But yeah, like it seems like they knew they should have known the writing on the wall with this game. And like it if it if they had focus test this game
Hmm.
and internally the game was scoring 8.5 or whatever, and they're like, oh, this is gonna be good, they need to fire their focus testing group because they lied to you. Because
I wonder who this
look
game
where
was
it ended up.
for.
I don't know. I
Because
don't know.
you're not stealing people any, you're not stealing anybody away from Call of Duty Battlefield.
Yeah,
Shit, even X Defiant was supposed to be the next Call of Duty killer. That didn't do well. And you got the next Call of Duty coming out in what, 2, 3 months? Like,
yeah.
who
And
was
then
this for?
at the same time, like it's unfortunate where this was put, because this was put around Baldur's Gate 3 launching. And it's
Mm,
like Baldur's Gate 3 sucked the oxygen out of every other game around it, to the point where like people are talking about it being game of the year. So it's just like part of it is like, dang, is this just an unfortunate thing because Baldur's Gate 3 kind of came out of nowhere? It's just
yeah.
it sucks. But like at the same time, even with Baldur's Gate 3 being as big as it is, if this game was good, people would still play it, or still like stumble
Yeah.
on it, because people would be streaming it, people would be talking about it, but no one was talking about it or streaming it because the game just was a boring generic magic FPS. And it's just like, all right, well, that's what's gonna happen. Like I think at the end of the day, this is because this is part of EA Originals. So Wild Hearts was another game that was an EA original thing, and that did a lot better than this, obviously. But it's one of those things where I hope EA looks at this and doesn't think, okay, we need to figure out how to make EA Originals work better, and they need to look at this and be like, okay, what was wrong with this game? And like just focus on figuring out what to do for the next EA originals so it doesn't end up like Immortals. Yeah.
I don't know.
Um yeah, I just that it you know, it sucks for all the developers who put their time and effort in this game, and it ended up this way. So, number 5, and kind of the last story for the day. Unity shuts down 2 offices citing. Oh, okay. So this is sort of a combination of Unity just
Getting the
making
bed.
real bad Real bad choices for consumers, but real great choices for their businesses. But not really because no one's following through with it. So essentially, what happened is that Unity made a statement saying that, oh, if you don't know, Unity is one of the popular video game engines that a lot of developers use to create video games. Surprise. You might see Unity pop up on games like Genshin Impact, which makes billions of dollars. Surprise. Unity looked at that and you're like, we're not getting any of that money. So let's change that. So what Unity decided to do is that they are putting I believe it's a 20 cents fee on any game that is installed onto a console, computer, or
System,
whatever
whatever, just install.
system. Yes, yeah. So anytime the game is installed, they get 20 cents of that. So you might think, oh, that doesn't seem like a problem. The issue is that installation is separate from the purchase of the game. So, for example, if you install the game, uninstall the game, and then reinstall the game, you pay 40 cents. Or the developer
Apparently,
has to pay 40
they
cents.
have clarified that that's not going to be the case. Granted,
Yes.
technology is fallible; it may break, and people get erroneously charged.
Yes. Yeah. So they came back because there also was going to have that same fee for demos as well. So they tweaked their structure, their transaction fees for this whole like new system. Anyways, no one was happy about this. The developers were just like, this is insane that we're gonna have to be paying all this extra money to you for people installing the game when a person buys our game, they only buy it one time. So it obviously doesn't make sense. And yeah, it doesn't make sense. So essentially, a lot of developers started sort of rioting against Unity in terms of we're not going to do this to the point where this comes from The Verge. Developers fight back against Unity's new pricing model by way of Ash Parish. I'm just going to go ahead and just read from the article. The game developers affected by Unity's new pricing model are striking back. A collective of developers across 19 companies, mostly based in Europe and mostly developing mobile games, has put out an open letter urging Unity to reverse course on its recently announced price model change. The letter contains some of the same sentiment expressed by other developers this week, with one big twist. As a course of immediate action, our collective game development companies is forcing to turn off all Iron Source and Unity ad monetization across our projects until these changes are reconsidered, the letter reads. Essentially, these companies, which represent thousands of games with billions of downloads, have blocked Unity from making any more money in their games. Some of the companies represented in the letter includes Voodoo.io, Azure Games, and Say Games, with each claiming over 100 games. So that is basically the opposite of what Unity wanted. So it's one of those things where we don't know. I would imagine Unity is going to have to walk back on this to the point where it's just like, well, okay,
They've
we're
already
just not
walked
going to
back
do
on
it.
their statements once. They can't. And this is where my AKA came from. You know, we altering the deal. Pray we don't alter it any further. So this is directly like an about face antithesis. Is that the word? I don't know. Whatever. Back in 2015, because I had to look this up, because of course people are bringing this back up.
Yeah.
The CEO, John, this looks like Riccicello. Back in 2015, this is when they announced that they're gonna have a personal version of the Unity development tools for free for, like, you know, indie developers, people just looking to mess around with the game, you know, mess around with the development tools. They said if you're a seven-figure developer, you can afford the $75 a month for access to their tools. This is all verbatim an interview he had with GamesIndustry.biz. But if you're just getting started out, or you choose, you know, for artistic reasons to give your games away for free, or if you're a hobbyist screwing around or a student, this is free. You get the full power of Unity 5 for free. There's no royalties, no fucking around. It's simple. That's really what we're announcing. That is verbatim from the CEO back then. So for them to turn around and do this is wild.
Yikes. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you just can't trust CEOs. Like, because the moment they're like losing money, then they're gonna be like, oh no, we're gonna change everything. Like, we don't care what we said in the past. Like, we need to make the money now. And it's just like, all
This
right.
almost sounds like a Bobby Kotick because apparently he 2019 he assaulted, you know,
Ugh,
I'm gonna say sensually because maybe whatever, sensually assaulted
yeah.
his VP and then retaliatory fired her when she raised issues with HR. So
Oh my god.
it sounds like a
Well,
lot of
great.
CEOs are just kind of shitty.
Especially don't give this don't just yeah, everybody move away from Unity and jump on learn Unreal. Like,
I mean, that's not to say Unreal is without their issues as well, but
of course. But at least right
rough.
now, Unreal's not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give this man any more money. Like, no, you
Um, and then
don't fix
apparently
slime water.
the upper management has been dumping shares of Unity over the past year. No one has acquired any new shares over the past 12 months. They've just been slowly offloading their stuff.
Oh, so they're trying to get rid of Unity from the
Mm.
inside.
We
All
don't
right,
know
well,
what they're doing exactly.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, we're recording this on Sunday. Hopefully tomorrow they're like, "Hey guys, we removed that idiot guy. So we got a
Yeah.
new CEO, and we're all good now. We're not doing any of the stuff that he said." So
Nah, it'll
have fun,
blow
guys.
over.
Yeah.
Did you want to do
Yeah.
that last story?
Uh, no, I did it. I did that. That
Developers?
was a yeah. I
Oh
did that
yeah,
already.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before we end this, we are going to jump into what we have been playing. Sean, do you have anything you wanna talk about? You been playing?
Nah, I'm just slowly sliding through Final Fantasy 16 and Apex.
Uh,
Ain't
how
nothing
you
new on the
liking Final Fantasy
horizon.
16?
Man, I think I said this last time. Boy, they just know how to treat those branded.
Oh dear.
Um,
Yeah.
they really make you feel like you need your walk-in papers. People literally be asking you like, "Where's your owner? Where's your master in this game?" And it's
Jeez.
it's just crazy that
Yeah.
Square was like, "Nah, we're going for a period accurate timepiece. There are no black folks in medieval times like this." But
Mm-hmm.
nah, they included them. Like I said, they included them.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I've been talking all through this podcast about Baldur's Gate 3. Beyond that, guys, I played one of the games that we didn't talk about on the Nintendo Direct, F-Zero 99. Uh it is essentially a battle royale game in the world of F-Zero where you race, and if you bump into a person, you lose some of your power meter. You can use that same power meter to boost. You can actually regain that power meter from grabbing little gold balls that pop out of other people who are sliding into each other. So if you play smart, you can actually like keep that boost at a relatively like good place to win. The game is fun. The game is fun. I played pretty much the tutorial, and then I played one match. So I played probably about
Yeah,
15, 30, 15 minutes of this game. I had a good time, but it is one of those things where you can just pick up and put down, and you don't really feel any other way about it. I don't think, for me, anyways, it didn't. I had a good time, but it wasn't like, oh, I got to come back to this game. So
yeah.
yeah, and it's free to play too, as long as you have Nintendo Online. So thanks, Sean. The other game I played, Baldur's Gate 3. Man, let me tell you something. Up until this point, I was like, yo, I don't see how Breath of the Wild. I don't see how Tears of the Kingdom is going to be beat by any other game in terms of games of the year. And then
Yeah.
I played Baldur's Gate 3, and like the first hour of this game, I'm just like, oh, okay, I see why people are calling this game of the year. Baldur's Gate 3 is I've gone on record to say like I'm not that big for RPG person because I don't like to sit there
Yeah.
and get hit in my face, right?
Wow.
Hold on. I mean, no one does. No one does. But I think what I discovered is that I don't like JRPGs, in that I playing Baldur's Gate 3, they give you so many different options in terms of how you do combat, how you can avoid combat, like how you can essentially prepare before combat. And it's just like it allows you to use your imagination in a literal way in the game to like essentially accomplish goals. One of the things that happened to me while playing this game is I was in a fight. I had used all of my magic and I wasn't in range to do a melee attack. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna figure out how to kill this person because the person had like maybe like 2 health points left or something like that. They were really low. And I was just like,
Is
I
it
don't know.
turn based?
It's turn based, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not turn based in that all of your people go, all of the enemy people go. Like every person has an initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think it's like 1 out of 20. So it's possible that you can have like 2 of your people go, and then 1 of the enemy people go, and another person your person go, another person on your team go.
No,
And
I
it
get it. It's
depends
kind of
on
like a Final Fantasy active time battle almost.
okay,
I
yeah,
kind of understand what you're
yeah.
saying.
So I basically was like, all right, well, I got to figure out how to hit this person. So I was looking through all the little things you can do, and I was like, oh, I can throw stuff. So I grabbed a mug out of my inventory and I just lobbed it at the person, killed them. And I was like, oh, bet, let's go. And like,
So now that you have killed that person, you no longer
mhm.
have a mug to drink out of. Did you die of thirst?
No, I didn't die because it was like a little tea mug, so it wasn't like that big. And it's not a survival game, so you don't have to worry about stuff like drinking water. But I did have to heal my people, so that was a little rough. I I like I say I like all the time. There's things about this game that I find. You want to say that?
I was gonna say, how much of this is animated? Like, did you actually throw the mug, or did it just a message pop
Yeah.
on screen?
No, no, it's all animated. So like if your character is doing an attack, that's animated. If your character is throwing something, that's animated. Characters walking around, that's animated. Like everything is animated. And I think to them, like, because like one of the stories that we talked about a while ago was like, oh, there's like 156 hours of
Hmm.
cutscenes in this game. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense because like everything you do in terms of your interactions with characters, like there's a cutscene or something that's like showing it,
Yeah.
or like an in-game cutscene. Like the only thing is that the main character doesn't talk.
I mean,
So
that's
they will
fair.
emote. Yeah, so they'll emote, they'll do like do stuff or whatever, but they're not
Game would
actually
have never
talking.
came out.
Exactly. But like there is a narrator that's like narrating stuff, and like I think whoever that narrator is, like they should definitely be put in like the voice category for game of the year because they do a fantastic job with this game.
Took them 6 years to
Um
make.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not really going to talk too much about story stuff because a lot of the stuff that happens is, it could be based off of whether or not you find stuff during the game. Like at the very very start of the game, in the first area of the game, like the first room of the game, I was talking to Marcus like, "Oh, did you find the guy with the half open skull?" And Marcus like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, there was a guy. I had a whole conversation with this man, and I could decide to like pull the brain out of the head, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" And it's just like he just didn't see this part of the stage that I just kind of stumbled upon, and it's just like
Was this just an option that popped up, like pull brain out of head, or what? Like
it was.
what?
I had a whole conversation with this brain, and it was just like because I was a warlock. Oh, so my character is a half elf warlock. It's not gonna mean much to anybody. I just have abilities to do magic, and I'm sort of like my it's not it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I basically had a conversation with this brain, and because I was a warlock I was able to perceive things, like realizing that I could help this brain, but when I pulled the brain out I had the option to essentially make it subservient to me
Hmm.
so it wouldn't attack me. So I basically made like a brain pet, but I only had that option because I was a warlock, and I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. I just
So,
because of my class,
so you
they
didn't
allowed
make
me
it a
to do
pet,
that.
or what'd you do with it
No, I
ultimately?
did. So
So
I
does
made it
it
a pet.
float around following you or something? Like,
So
can
yeah,
it
so
walk?
throughout the it sprouted legs out of the brain
No, I
very
mean
weirdly.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
Just
no, no.
questions.
I get you. I get you. Sorry. But yeah, like it sprouted legs out of the brain. I was like, oh, so that's how you're gonna move. Okay, cool. But like I guess the added benefit to that was that because it looked at me and determined me as a friend, all the other brain walking things that was like in the area, they also looked at me and they were like one of us or something. So like I didn't have to fight them. So it made that tutorial area, I guess, a little easier for me because I didn't have as many like enemy encounters. So it's like I just happened to walk around and I like saw it. And I think it's stuff like that that does the Elden Ring thing where it's just like, oh my god, like I just have all these like water cooler moments where I can just talk to somebody like, oh, this happened to me, this happened to you. I'm like, no, I did this thing. It's just like, what? And then you go back and you try to find it and it's either there or it's not there. And I think ultimately like if
Nobody's playthrough is going to be the same. Yeah.
exactly. Like I would love to see Square Enix look at Boulder Gate 3 and be like, dang, we need to try and do something like this. Because
Nah, they're just gonna stay in their lane. That's all.
they are, but I think like the Japanese perspective of this would be so fascinating because it's like because like just look at like Yakuza and how
Mm.
like their perspective of like I because like I look at Yakuza like a GTA, but it's like Japanese. And it's just like their stuff is so different, so creative. It's like I would love to see that version of like a Baldur's Gate and see like what that would like amount to. But yeah, like this game, like if you are interested in this at all, I'd say definitely try it. Don't be afraid of the whole D&D of it. Like it's not it's not that crazy. You just have to read. If you just read the stuff, there's a bunch of like tool tips to show you like what this means, what this does, and you'll be fine. Like I never felt like, oh crap, like I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. It's just like you kind of see and like you can auto save a bunch, so you'll be fine. Definitely try it out. The game's great. Game's great.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. That is it. My mouth is tired, man. We didn't even say pause. We just paused. All right. That has been it for the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoy making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcasting services. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I was gonna say leave a comment. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below down there because we greatly appreciate that and we like to see those things as well. Um, yeah, join the Discord if you want to join our conversations. It's awesome. Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I see what you mean. Um, yeah. So yeah, like the Discord, jump on the Discord. It's all great. Do it, okay? Um, yeah, that's it. That's it. Take care. You be safe. You play games and enjoy the rest of your wonderful evening. Bye.
Yeah.